My name's Colin Boulter of Neilson Reeves Photography, and I am with Ignite in Science.
Yeah, so thanks for having us today. I'm joined by Colin Boulter of Neilson Reeves Photography. Yes, very, very fancy. I mean, first of all, like, you're obviously not called Neilson Reeves. Why Neilson Reeves Photography?
Okay, let me think. Well, if you've ever been called Colin as long as I have, and for all the Collins out there that have been called Colin for any length of time, what you realise is that any time there's anyone a bit odd on TV or a bit strange or an odd dog or anything a bit odd, generally, they tend to call it Colin. So I thought, as a photographer, that doesn't sound really windswept or interesting, does it? So I thought, I need something a bit kind of groovier. So the Neilson Reeves was a name we thought of in the old rave days, to be honest, and it made us sound windswept or interesting. So we used to introduce ourselves at raves as Neilson Reeves. So yeah, that's why I called it Neilson Reeves Photography. And also, as well, it gives a sense of scale because people that even now say, you and the team at Neilson Reeves. And there's like me and a couple of makeup artists. We're not exactly a massive team, you know what I mean? But we obviously come across like that, so that's the main thing.
Excellent, love it. I'm going to start with a bit of a softball. What is a headshot?
What is a headshot? Well, this is really interesting because a headshot is a really, really straightforward. It's a head and shoulders image. Yeah. If you start including hands, it isn't a headshot. If you start focusing further down the body, it isn't a headshot. It's head and shoulders, no arms, nothing else in it. Otherwise, it becomes a portrait.
Excellent. How important are headshots for actors?
Well, they've been going since the beginning of time, haven't they, really? You know, I mean, I suppose it's the only way for, going back to old Hollywood, I mean, there's some fantastic headshots if you just Google, you know, old Hollywood headshots. And even going back to the beginning of time, they're massively, massively important because it's kind of like a way to kind of put your best foot forward in front of the potential casting director and really show them something. I believe that a headshot is an unanswered question. Okay. And what I mean by that is, if a casting director is looking at a headshot, or many headshots, and they go, yes, no, that's an answered question, isn't it?
Yeah.
If they go, get him in.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Then that is what we want, isn't it? Because you know what I mean. You want to create a sign of something that they just want to get you in, whether it be because they just can't quite get it, or there's just something about you in it, or there's just something in that image that I just can't make my mind up about this person. Let's get them in. And then once you're in, my job is done, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if it was an answered question, yes or no, I wouldn't have done my job.
You're opening that door for us.
100%.
Absolutely. When a booking comes in from an actor, what happens next?
Okay. Well, the first thing I do is I try to understand what they like, and I try to understand if they've got any information from their agent about what they need. What I will say to them is I will say, look on my website and tell me which images you like, because that then tells me what type of light they like. Okay. A lot of my work is natural light. Okay. One of the downsides of being in Manchester is we don't have that much of it.
Sure.
And I am such a perfectionist that I've currently got 3 quite famous actors on the go. And what I'm doing is checking the light and weather with them. I've got pencil-ins, so I actually put a lot of time into effort in the background. So I've got them, and I'm constantly checking the weather. So I'll check it on a Sunday. I'll put a few pencil-ins, check the weather. If the light and the weather's okay, I've got all tracking apps that track the light, the weather, and then we say, right, we're good to go on that day. And most of them understand it because if you've ever been in TV, an early morning call is massively important because of the light, the angle of the light, the colour of the light, all really, really important to get the best headshot.
What happens during a session then, once you've got your light sorted?
Wow. Well, the first part of the session is I mean, I always, when I do book them and we've decided on a day, I get to know them a bit over the phone. So I want to understand a bit about them. I want to understand what the goals are, you know. If they're new into the industry, I kind of don't really know what the goals are. I give them the goal of, well, shall we do gritty and pretty?
Sure, yeah.
Because that kind of basically gives them two headshots, one gritty kind of quite intense actor headshot, an answered question, and then potentially one something a bit more commercial to show them a bit more commercial and smiler. That way it gives them 2 opportunities, one to get commercial work and one to get obviously acting work as well. What we have to do is we have to get their, what we call their main headshot, their flagship headshot. That's our ultimate goal of every shoot. Once we've nailed that one, we then want to have a purpose for the headshot, and the headshot can be something as simple as stretching the casting age. So if you want to look a bit younger, a bit older, that stretches your casting age. If you're classically quite pretty, we can make you look as rough as toast. If you want to look like a potential, if you want more rough kind of work, we can do that. We can make you look a bit more glam if you want to do a bit more glam stuff as well. So yeah, there's lots and lots of things we can do to stretch tight.
Great. When you get an actor in the space and you start working with them on the day, what kind of stuff do you do to make them comfortable?
Give them alcohol? No.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that works. I wouldn't say no.
No, I'm only joking. Well, I suppose it starts from the minute they phone me, really. That's the part. I always think that, when I speak to an actor, my integrity comes across straight away, because if I was a money-driven photographer, I wouldn't do all that light-checking stuff, would I? Because it's actually costing me time. And what I do is I actually have those people can be on the go, and in actual fact, they can be actually in the market and they could use somebody else. So straight away, I kind of am showing my integrity. And it's amazing how, when all of a sudden you make it about them and in their interest, then they're already relaxing, because they know that you've got their best interest at heart and they know you want to do a job for them. So it starts from the minute I phone them, really. Yeah. And some of the things I say when I do speak to them, I say to them, look, you're going to come to the studio, let me just explain. It's not going to be a nerve-wracking experience like a casting, because I want them to get a good night's sleep. Yeah. That's what I seriously, I say, you're going to be coming to a studio having fun with your mate, and we're going to take some pictures. You're going to be totally involved in every way, every step of the way. You feel completely in control. But the main thing is we have a bit of fun, generate a bit of mutual energy and all of that. And we always leave the phone call quite positive and fun. So, and then when they come here, we just continue in that vein, really, just showing them that everything we do is about them.
What happens if an actor becomes camera shy on the day?
So basically, the best way to overcome the shyness is just to show them the back of the camera, show them how good they look, and allow them to say, right, that's great, but oh, Colin, I'm just a bit worried about this. And you tend to find what it is that what they're shy about, and they feel a bit more in control. And moreover, they can see that everything you're doing is trying in their interest, and they tend to open up a bit then as well.
So what kind of stuff do you specifically talk with your clients about before a shoot?
My word.
Yeah.
Well, you can imagine, I can waffle.
Sure.
I can talk. You wouldn't believe it, to be honest. By the end of the shoot, we've discussed psychology, we've discussed music, we've discussed what books we've read, where we've been, we've discussed life, we've discussed all sorts of stuff as well, because that builds rapport, and you just generally get to know them a bit as well.
Yeah. Great. So just the universe
absolutely
is open before you.
Well, anybody again who's watched this, who's ever been in here, will say a few things. One, the music is just so crazy and eclectic.
Sure.
Two, we do explore subject matters like psychology. I actually get a lot of them doing psychometric tests that they then feed back to me and tell me what personality style they have, and then I email them back information about, this actor's like you, or this author's like you, or whatever. Yeah. Because I think in this world we need to understand who we are. It's so difficult to know where you fit. So it's good to understand where you are. So I just like to share that with people.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when you're 51, you just want to share your wisdom. Nobody wants to know, because your kids don't want to know.
Sure. You've talked to them already. They're
bored. They've heard it. You know what I mean? So
they've done 17 personality tests already.
You just cannot wait to get a captive audience.
Yeah.
You ain't getting out.
You're trapped in here with me.
You are.
Yeah, great. On the day, should a client bring specific ideas of who they think they are into a shoot beforehand?
Well, again, this is what we do on the pre-call, on the phone. So when we chat on the phone, we talk to them about that, and if they don't, if they have clear ideas where they're going, and that's sometimes fed back from the agent. Yeah. Agents that get involved with this, you wouldn't believe how few and far between they are. And when and when you consider, and that is absolute truth, speaking from a photographer, very few agents get involved, and this is ridiculous, because this is like, the actor is your product. It's a bit like Tesco not getting involved in product photography for their products, isn't it? Because if you don't get involved in it, do you know what I mean? They don't get involved. So when the agent gets involved, that's great, and they tell me that's what they're looking for. Some actors clearly know where they're going based on experience, so they've gone, right, I tend to be getting cast in this. So I had a girl the other day, and beautiful girl, she was getting pigeonholed very modelly. And she wanted to look gritty and northern. She wanted to look like an actress. And it's really, really easy as a photographer, especially when you get beautiful people in front of you, to get all carried away and take them down the model route.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of them do. They take them down the model route. It's not about modelling, it's a headshot. Do you know what I mean? And I've noticed a lot of backgrounds, like people say, oh, I like the background. Well, your background will never get you a casting, will it? You know, the film movie director's not going to go, get that guy in and bring that background. Sorry, I sounded like Toast of London then, didn't I?
Sure.
Bring that guy. I don't actually want him, I just want the background. Nobody's going to do that, are they?
Yeah.
So, and also the background can sometimes overpower the picture. But people who don't know what they want, I explore with them what they did at college. So, for instance, if you were at university studying, you would have noticed you were getting typed a bit by the type of shows that you ended up doing, or by your colleagues who said to you, you know, you're good at this role, you do that. So you start to see patterns, and then we work on those patterns and try and play to the strengths.
Oh, great. So you look at their past experience and pull the roles that they have been getting.
Yeah, work with
forward.
that. Work with that, and then really try to, if that's what they want to continue doing, really work with that. And then if they want to open up new opportunities, we start talking about new opportunities and things they're not getting put in front of casting directors for. We look at why they're not getting put in front of casting directors for that particular with that particular headshot. And then we really sort of hone in on it and work on that particular goal.
Have you ever had experience of an actor perhaps coming to you with a really strong idea of a headshot that they really wanted to get, but you knew that they probably wouldn't be able to work towards that?
Yes. Unfortunately, we've got a very self-conscious world out there at the moment with the selfie generation, etc. And a lot of the younger people, sometimes they are misguided. And they think a headshot is a beauty shot or a model shot, or, you know, and you end up with like lots of pouting and stuff like that. And you have to kind of get across to them that they are a product. It isn't about how they, you know, a young girl said to me once, can you hide my nose? I've got a big nose. And I said, no, because that could cost you £200,000. And she went, what do you mean? I went, well, what about if there's a movie director, he's looking for somebody, and he wants that nose. And I've just hid it. And I've just cost you £200,000, and I can't sleep at night with that. So,
you just set them straight.
100%. No, you have to. You have to. Because otherwise you won't get anywhere. And you know that you're just setting them up for a fall.
Fair. How much direction do you give actors during a shoot?
Loads.
Yeah,
loads. I teach them all sorts of stuff. I mean, I teach them about lenses. And believe it or not, I teach them how lenses work and how lenses compress and how they can use those kind of like what that lens actually does. They can use that to kind of achieve certain looks, and I show them how to do all that. So I kind of educate them about light and lenses and get them involved. It's all part of getting the person involved. It's teamwork. Headshots are teamwork, aren't they? I can't do it without the actor. The actor can't do it without me. So if we work together, we get better results.
And so how does that translate to how the actor is giving you the looks they're looking for? Like, would you, for example, be like, play a New York gangster?
No, because it's too. You know, you can go down that direction. I actually just believe in kind of giving them a framework to work within. Do you know what I mean? So. There's lots of things. Let me think of some of the frameworks that I give people to work within.
For sure.
So I suppose if we go in for a New York gangster kind of look, then we really start to have a play together about, you know, and because he might be an Italiano, floppy-haired New York gangster. So we will maybe go, okay then, well, what aspects of that, what does that person's features do as a New York actor who's an Italiano? They frown a lot. The hair's floppy. They're kind of looking from under their eyes, and it's all a bit Tony and a bit, you know. And we play a bit like stuff, and we try and get there, and we play. And I try to get frowns and character in the face. You know, it's just additional things to look at. Basically, because at the end of the day, when you look at an actor's headshot, you kind of want to see some character in there, don't you? And I love character. You know, lines, creases, crinkles, pores. The TV industry spend £250,000, £500,000 on cameras to pick up pores, to pick up frowns, to pick up wrinkles. So when people ask me to airbrush and hide the pores and the wrinkles, it's ridiculous. Because they want them. the DOP wants that. It gives the person character. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. How should an actor dress for a session?
Well, it doesn't matter what they wear on the bottom half.
Sure. Board shorts.
Unless, although sometimes, sometimes you want to feel the part. So sometimes people, if someone wants a suit jacket on and they wear jeans, they might not feel the part. So if they feel free, if you want to feel the part, wear the full outfit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You don't have to, it's mainly top half. Clothing is a stage for the head. That's all it is. It's a stage for the head. A headshot has to have visual weight, and it follows the human psychology, really, of visual weight. So even little things like, you wouldn't believe just pursing your lips is wrong, because it's too finished an emotion. If your lips are pursed, they're too finished. Having a small gap in the mouth almost looks like you may be going to speak or something, and it makes the mouth more interesting and there's something more to look at. Yeah. The clothing is really, really just a stage. It's secondary, and if that takes over any of those two things, if you see the clothes before you see those or that, then the clothes it's got too much visual weight, it's too much colour. Yeah. Clothing, little things about clothing for females as such. A low-cut top, when it's cropped, it can be nothing. Do you know what I mean? So you have to have concern about that. A top that goes off one shoulder to the other, do you know what that is? An arrow pointing down to the other headshot on the agent's page, and you don't want that. You know what I mean? Because it's a line, and the human brain follows lines. So if it's a leading line leading to the actor below, you definitely don't want that. Yeah. So things like that. Yeah. It's kind of finding colour harmony, and also it's finding the appropriate clothing as well. So for instance, when you're shooting outside, light has a certain feel to it. It's outdoor light. People know it's outdoor light. Your brain's attuned. You don't know, it's a subconscious thing. You know it's outdoor light. So if somebody's in a kind of an autumnal scene with a t-shirt on, besides the fact they're going to be freezing, it's not going to look great. So we go for layers then. Do you know what I mean? A jacket with something underneath it. Yeah, and that's something, just a nice bit of texture to add to it. Yeah. The clothing, as I say, it's a stage. It's not got to be too obvious. You know what I mean? We don't want it to really, because otherwise it answers the question.
Exactly.
And it's not an unanswered question anymore, is it?
The casting director goes,
I know exactly what he's trying to be. We don't want that.
Yeah. Leave the question unanswered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wear a play t-shirt.
Absolutely. Wear something appropriate for the light and the mood we're trying to create.
Yeah, sure.